Shavua Tov, let's learn some halachot now about leaning on Leil HaSeder. The Shulchan Aruch in Siman Taf Ayin Bet discusses the halachot about leaning. Let's try to do some of the sugyot that pertain to that as well. Okay. Very good. So the halacha explains in Seif Bet, Yisader shulchano yafeh, bekelim na'im kefi kocho, ויכין מקום מושבו שישב בעשבה דרך חירות. אגב, אפילו אני שאין לו כריס, ישב על הספסל. Very, very good, okay? So the Shulchan Aruch quotes the halacha that when we prepare our home for the Leil HaSeder, this is very important, everyone should prepare where they're going to be having their Seder, and make sure that we have a place that we can comfortably lean. That somewhere that you're able to lean, it symbolizes the idea of being cherut, of being free. Okay? And what's the source of this? The Gemara Masechet Pesachim. It's the first Mishnah in our Pesachim. It says, "Afilu ani shebei Yisrael lo yochal ad sheyasev." Even an ani, even a poor person that doesn't have any means, he cannot eat his food until he leans at the Seder of Pesach. Now there are a few opinions. What does that mean? Rashi explains, "Tzarich la'asev kederech b'nechorim." Why? Zecher lecherut b'mita v'al shulchan. Rashi explains that what the idea of leaning is to symbolize that we're free. We're free people, and that the leaning symbolizes freedom, which is an obligation to do at the Seder. So we lean to our left, symbolizing freedom. The Ra'aviyah has a very interesting opinion, and we'll bring this and we'll use this opinion in a few places momentarily. The Ra'aviyah explains that what? בזמן הזה שאין רגילות בארצנו להסב, יושב כדרכו ואין צריך להסב. The Ra'aviyah has an amazing opinion that says the leaning is only in their times. In their times, they would generally lean. Royalty would generally lean. Royalty would generally recline. So they had to mimic free people. They had to mimic royalty. So there was an obligation to recline. The Ra'aviyah says, however, today, who leans? All of our chairs are sitting upright. Have you ever in your life eaten a meal leaning besides your Pesach night? Of course not. So Ra'aviyah says, because we don't lean anymore in our generation, there is no obligation to lean as well. The Bet Yosef writes that Shedat Kol HaPoskim de Le'olam Ba'eseba Afilu Bizman Hazeh. Bet Yosef says that everyone agrees that even in our generation you're required to lean. The Ra'aviyah has a lone opinion. He's a lone soldier. He's a Dat Yachid. And Shulchan Aruch over here writes that you have to lean to prepare your table to be able to lean. Now in Seif Zayin, we talk about this at length. Okay? What?
You lean when you drink wine and eat.
Very good. So we'll explain momentarily, but yes. Anytime you eat matzah, anytime you drink the 4 cups of wine, you have an obligation to lean. If you don't lean, it's a problem. Now, the halacha explains that someone who leans the whole Seder, Shalom Baracha, and it's wonderful, except for obviously Maror. We don't lean for Maror, and some say not to lean for Birkat Hamazon as well. But the rest of the Tefillah, the rest of the Seder is praised with lean, but the minimum is for the Matzah and for the 4 cups. Good? So now the Halakha in Seif Zayin, Shulchan Aruch explains, Kol mi shetzarich heseva, im achal o shata belo heseva, lo yatsa, vetzarich lachzor le'echol v'lishot be'heseva. Very important halacha, Shulchan Aruch Siman Taf Ayin Bet Seif Zayin. And anyone that requires leaning, if he ate or drank any of the 4 cups without leaning, he has to go back and eat and drink again while leaning. The Haggah, the Rama adds, the Yeshomim de Bizman said the Tzarech La'aseb Kedayu Ra'aviyah Lismoch Alav Shebidav Yatzad Belo Heseba. The Rama brings that some say that if you forgot to lean, you have the opinion of the Ra'aviyah. We just quoted the Ra'aviyah on Pesachim that says nowadays there's no obligation to lean. The Rama says you can maybe rely on that. The Rama makes some sort of shara, makes a compromise for the Ashkenazim. He says, the Rama said if you didn't drink the 3rd or 4th cup leaning, don't drink it, don't lean it, don't drink again while leaning, because it might look like you're adding to the cups. אבל בשני כוסות ראשונות יחזור וישב בלא ברכה, וכאן אכילת מצה, ולכתחילה יסב כל הסעודה. The Rama makes like a compromise. He says the last two ones don't lean again because it looks like you're adding. First two ones you should go back and lean again. Matza you should always lean again, and lechatchila you should lean the entire seudah. But now let's spend a few times learning and understanding their the opinions in the sugya here. The Gemara Pesachim daf kuf chet amud aleph. So we saw the Mishnah that says ad sheyaseb. The Gemara 9 daf later explains Amar Yishua ben Levi Hashamash she'achal kezait matzah keshu mesev yatsa mesev in lo mesev lo. He said Rabbi Yishua ben Levi says that the shamash they used to have servants, Jewish servants, not non-Jewish cargars, Jewish servants that would meaning cater them. Okay, they would go and they would be the butler or whoever that would bring the food, take the food. And Rabbi Yishua ben Levi in the Gemara says that if the shamash ate a kezait of matzah while leaning, he's yotzeh. If he didn't lean, he's not yotzeh. Even the shamash, the servant. Okay? And we'll see here that the idea, the concept of leaning is in fact me'akev, prevents us from fulfilling the mitzvah, and we'll explain the opinions momentarily. Okay? Very good. So we've quoted this Ravia earlier. We're going to repeat the Ravia again because this opinion is a very important opinion in the whole sugya of leaning. Ravia explains that because nowadays we do not lean, no one leads. Our royalty, our first class, President Trump and all of the kings in the world eat their meals sitting on a chair. They're not leaning anymore. So for that reason, there's no longer a symbolization of freedom. Okay, so therefore what? If you didn't lean, if you didn't lean, it's okay. There's no obligation to lean, and you can continue moving on. That's according to the Rama. In fact, according to the Bet Yosef, he understands the Ravia that says don't lean. One step further, the Rama understands the Ravia that there's no obligation to lean. Bet Yosef says the Ravia's opinion is don't lean because it's opposite. It's uncomfortable. The royalty doesn't do it again. It doesn't do it today, and there's zero symbolization of or recognition of royalty of derech cherut when we lean today. Whatever the machloket is in the opinion of the Ravia, the opinion is there, and it's important to understand that he holds that you don't have to lean or you shouldn't lean, but that's the opinion. The opinion of the Rosh in Pesachim, Perek Yud Halacha Kaf, Siman Kaf, he says that what? Heseva me'akevet bechol ha'achilot uvchol arba kosot. Leaning is prerequisite. Leaning is me'akev in every scenario that we have an obligation to eat matzah, meaning achilat matzah, korech, and afikoman. Each one of these scenarios, there's an obligation to lean. Additionally, the 4 cups of wine, obligation to lean. If someone doesn't lean in these scenarios, he was not yotzeh and has to go back, eat or drink again while leaning. Okay? The Mordechai explains that if you imlo hesev be'achilot hamatzah uchdekaman יחזור ויאכל ויסב, אך לעניין שתיית 4 כוסות יש לחלק. שבשתי הכוסות הראשונות, אם לא הסב לא יחזור, אם לא הסב יחזור. שתי הכוסות האחרות לא יחזור. The Mordechai is what the Rama was following. It's like a compromise. It's a middle ground. He says the Rosh was to one extreme, the Raviat is the other extreme. The Mordechai explains that no. For matzah, if you didn't lean, you have to go back and eat again. For the wine, it's a chiluk. There's a distinction. The first 2 cups, if you didn't lean, you have to go back and lean again. The last 2 cups, you don't have to go back at all. Why? Because the Gemara explains that only in the first 2 cups you have to go back. The Gemara, that's what the Gemara discusses over there. The problem is there's a safek in the Gemara and the Rishonim which of the 4 cups are the primary? Are the first 2 cups or the last 2 cups? So what happens? So because מכיוון שבשתי הכוסות האחרונות יש איסור שנראה כמוסיף על הכוסות, לכן לא יחזור לשתותם, מפני שכדאי הוא רעביה לסמוך עליו בכוסות אלו. Okay? The Mordechai says that because it's a safek, only go back in the beginning. Yeah. I think you sell it. You keep it. It's not. It's America is. It's distilled corn. It's not thing. Okay. Very, very, very good. That's the opinion of the Ravia. Next is how do we hold the halacha? So we saw the Gemara that says if the shamash doesn't lean, he has to go back. 3 opinions in the Rishonim. The Ravia, who says nowadays no need to lean whatsoever. Some say don't lean at all because who leans? It's an inconvenience. It doesn't show any freedom. The opinion of the Rosh that says the halacha didn't change. It's the same as what the Gemara says. You have to lean for all 4 cups, and you have to lean for anytime you eat matzah as well. It is the Mordechai that has this compromise. Matzah, you have to lean. So if you forgot, you have to go back. The 4 cups, you should ideally lean. But if you didn't lean, first 2 go back, last 2 go back. How do we hold the halacha? The halacha, the Shulchan Aruch holds that like the Rosh. He was posek like the Rosh, that if you ate or drink without leaning, you have to go back and do it again. And the Rama brings the opinion of the Ravia, but holds like the Mordechai that in cups 3 and 4, you shouldn't go back, but the rest you should. Okay? The Bach and the Chok Yaakov, they hold like the Ravia. Magen Avraham says, שלמנהגינו אין שותים שום כוס אפילו בין הכוסות הראשונות, אם כן זה יצטרך לברך שוב ויהיה נראה כמוסיף על הכוסות, לכן לא יחזור ולסמוך על הרבייה. The Magen Avraham, the Ashkenazi minhag, says maybe you shouldn't go back for the first cups as well. However, the halacha is Mishnah Berurah and the Be'er Halacha hold like the Rama. However, for us, according to Rav Ovadia Yosef, according to Rabbi Chaim, the halacha for the Sfaradim is very simple. That one, there's an obligation to lean, and if we don't lean, you have to go back and do it again.
Also for the 3rd and 4th.
Even for the 3rd and 4th cup. Even for the 3rd and 4th cup, it's a very good question. But yes, even for the 3rd and 4th cup, there's an obligation to go back there as well. I don't know why they didn't bring Rav Ovadia, but I'm pretty sure that's what Rav Ovadia said as well, that you go back and drink for all 4 cups. Now what about women?
You don't need to lean.
Very good. Why not? Good. So we'll wrap up with this. So Seif Dalet, I'm jumping back a few Seifim. Shulchan Aruch writes, Isha enat tzricha eseba, ela im ken hi chashuva. Shulchan Aruch says, a woman does not need to lean unless she's an important woman. And the Rama adds, V'chol anashim shelanu mikre chashuvot. All the women in our generation are considered important and dignified, so they have an obligation to lean. The Rama says that, however, there is no obligation for them to lean because the Rama says the Ashkenazi minhag was to learn the Ravia. What's this all about? So the Shulchan Aruch explains that what? He gives him a Gemara. Psachim kufchet. All the sugiyot are kufchet. Isha etzel ba'ala lo baya heseba. The Gemara says very simple, a woman by her husband does not need to lean unless she's important. If she's important, she has to lean.
It's an obligation on the husband.
No, we'll get there. So why doesn't she lean if she's with her husband? So the Rashbam says out of fear and reverence of her husband. Again, think back not even so long ago, 100 years ago, the husband and wife relationship was very different than today. There was a lot of respect from one way to another. Hopefully, the husband respected her back. But there was a hierarchy, not just in the Jewish community, all around the world. But that's the Rashbam. Out of reverence for her husband, she should be mindful and respectful to that. Sit. The Hilchot explained that what? Why don't the women lean? Because women don't lean. It's not the way for women to lean. It's not what women do. It's not appropriate. It's not sanua in parentheses, in quotes. It's not what they do. And why is this such an important answer? What's the nafka mina? The nafka mina is for a woman, God forbid, who's a widow or divorced. Mishnah Berurah says that he holds like the Hilchot, that what? If someone is divorced or widowed, there's no reverence of their husband. So according to the Rashbam, there's no issue. She has to lean. As if you say, why don't women lean? Because they have to, out of respect for their husband, then she has to lean. But if you say it's because of, that women don't do it, it's not sanua, it's not appropriate, then even if she's a single, not married, not by her husband, she shouldn't lean either. And the Mishnah Berurah seems that he holds like the Hilchot that says women should not lean. Now what about Nashim Chashuvot? The Aruch says unless they're important. And we'll wrap up with this. What does it mean unless they're important? So there's a few opinions. How do we define important women? The Or Zarua says, Isha Chashva Hainu Gabartanit. ונראה שכוונתו כדת הרשב"ם לאל שאישה פטורה כיוון כתשובה לבעלה, אך גברתנית אינה כתובה לו וחייבת. Okay, that's the opinion of the Or Zarua. The Kesef Mishnah in the name of his Rabbi Aruch says what? אישה חשובה, היינו שאין לה בעל והיא גברת הבית. A woman that doesn't have a husband, or she's the breadwinner. She's the breadwinner. She brings the money, she brings the parnasah, she's important, and then she should, then what? Or she's very skilled. She has a craft that she's very skilled at. Or bat gedulat ador, or meaning she is an important dignitary, the daughter of a gadol ador, or someone important in the community that makes her someone important. Or she has a lot of slaves and servants. That she doesn't need to deal with fixing and cleaning the house. She has workers, employees. She has car guys, slaves do all the work. That makes her someone important. Doesn't need to lead.
Or she has workers, like, just in general. So.
Good. What do you mean?
Where she owns like a restaurant or something and she has workers.
Very good. So the question is, how does this apply today? Are women considered holy or not holy? They're very holy. Are they considered important or not? So this is we'll wrap up with this, and it's a very beautiful idea. The Halacha Kaf HaChaim says that in our generation, all the women are considered hashuvot, are considered important and holy. The difference is, because of this opinion of the Ra'aviyah, many poskim say that if the women forgot and didn't lean, they don't have to go back. Because there's a lot of opinion that says there's no obligation for her to lean. La halacha, at all of our starim, we should tell everyone, lean. The women, the men, educate the children, everyone should lean. Even women. And now I end up with a beautiful, nice idea to say. This is something we can all, I always share this at my seder. The halacha says that women don't need to lean unless they're important. And today, all of you women are very important, so everyone has to lean. Everyone laughs, and then you start the Haggadah. It's a beautiful idea. It's important. It's not a joke. It is important. We have to remind and educate our women, our daughters, that they're bat melech, they're daughters of kings. They should conduct themselves with the class, with sinut, with kedusha, and we treat them like that as well. You have an obligation to lean. Why? Because you're important. And that way, they learn to take the message and we fulfill the halacha and the minhag to the best letter of the law. So recap very quick. Obligation to lean. Everyone needs to lean. Prepare your arrangement from before. Whether it's, we spoke before how to lean. There's a machloket nachronim, how to lean. Rav Benson Abba Shul says you have to lean at a 45-degree angle. Rav Ayer says you have to lean. But leaning doesn't mean leaning forward. Leaning forward is not considered leaning. We didn't get into that sugya today, but the Gemara talks about leaning forward is not leaning. The Halacha Rabbi Chaim says pivot your chair to the side and lean like this. I'm not 45-degree angle, but that's considered leaning. What I do is I pull it up to the table and you lean like this, also considered leaning to your left. So again, important, arrange from before Chag to have a place to lean. Then, everyone needs to lean for Matza and for drinking the cups of wine. If someone didn't lean, they have to go back and do it again. Machloket about the last 2 cups of wine, if they should or they shouldn't. Women, ideally, should lean because we treat them and view them as important and very dignified people today in our society, so they should lean. If they didn't lean, they don't have to go back. They can rely on the Ra'aviyah and the poskim that say they don't have to. Chag kasher v'sameach and tizkei mitzvot.